Welcome back to Ozarks Fox AM. It's Wednesday, which means we get to visit with our friend Michael Babcock at TMZ to get the scoop on today's hottest stories. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Kelly and Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
Now, good morning, Mike. Before we get started, Kelly, we have to address the cat in the box.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, this is not any type of abuse or anything. He loves boxes. If I could get him the most expensive cat bed in the world, guys, and he would sit in whatever my Amazon package came in. He loves boxes. So,
that is adorable.
This is where he's most happy.
Is that the evil cat or the angel cat?
Evil.
That's what I thought. The angel one always sits on your shoulder. There you go.
I love,
making sure I'm okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Making sure he doesn't attack me.
See, it's the angel and devil on either side of you.
Right. Maybe this one will be good right there in the box. You just stay in the box, honey.
I want to pet those cats so bad. I have no idea.
I know. Michael, what's happening? What's the news today?
So let's start with Jussie Smollett. Everybody, of course, remembers the Empire actor who allegedly, orchestrated that fake attack in Chicago, where he said that he had been targeted. He was the victim of a hate crime by two noose-carrying Donald Trump, MAGA hat-wearing supporters, and they splashed bleach on him and put a noose around his neck. Well, turns out that by all available information, that never happened, and Jussie made this thing up. And he got a lot of sympathy when people thought that he actually had been a victim. And then when people found out that, no, he made this entire thing up, people turned on him just as quick. So I tell that whole backstory just to kind of set it up to show that people thought Jussie Smollett was never going to work again in Hollywood. And that turned out to just not be the case. He is actually directing a new film. It's an adaptation of B-Boy Blues. And it's a movie. It's filming. It's got some pretty high-profile actors and actresses in it. And again, I think there's a surprise in Hollywood that Jussie Smollett is actually working again, and he's part of a big-time feature film. So I guess it goes to show you that time heals and people forget about things. No matter how mad they might be at a certain point, that usually fades, and Jussie Smollett is back.
Yeah.
Michael, I've heard, though, what might have helped this situation is I've heard since he's directing and not going to be in the movie, not on camera, that probably helped the case. I will be interested to see if he makes an on-camera appearance in the future and how viewers will react to him being on camera versus behind the camera.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jeremy. He's a lot lower profile when he's behind the camera. In front of the camera, that's a whole different ballgame. So you're right. That'll be really interesting to see. Or is he just kind of stuck in this behind-the-scenes, directing, producing area for the rest of his career? But that'll be something interesting to watch.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. And the thing is, maybe that's just a foot in the door. Has he directed anything prior?
You know what? That I'm not sure of. But, mostly, an overwhelming majority, if he has directed in the past, it hasn't been much. This guy is an actor, and that's what he has wanted to do. So
I gotta tell you, Mike, I don't want. I was very upset when I heard it was the hoax because it puts true victims. Their stories.
That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Right.
And so to me, even working with him, like if you're an actor on set, you kind of would be looking at him. He's directing you, and you're thinking in the back of your head, man, what this guy did, I don't know if I could be able to forget that.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
No, I don't think so. I feel the same exact way. And he's still not past some of this stuff. There's still some criminal issues in Chicago, as well as the civil lawsuit. So he's not even past this thing. I mean, theoretically, he could still spend some time behind bars if he were convicted of a criminal charge. Yeah. So he's not actually past this yet. It's still something he's going to have to deal with. But you're right. The fact that regular victim stories out there are then discounted because of someone like him, that doesn't sit right with me.
I'm in agreement with that.
I hate that.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
All right. So what else you got?
All right. Let's lighten it up. I was going to do a divorce story, but let's lighten it up.
Lighten it.
After that one. The immensely popular K-pop group BTS had better seats than American hero Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski at the World Series game last night. Sorta. So the people weren't actually in the building, but their cardboard cutouts were. And all of the members from BTS were right there in the first row watching the Rays and the Dodgers play game one. And 2 rows back was Tom Brady sitting with his buddy Rob Gronkowski. But I was surprised, somebody put them there in that kind of configurement, and Tom Brady did not get a better seat than BTS.
Okay. It depends on who. It depends on who's placing these and how old they are. This is
right.
This is who's in charge of this.
I'm googling it right now as you speak, Mike, because I have Michael Babcock. I have to see this.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it there. Okay, there's BTS on the front row.
Let me see it.
Now
Jeremy.
Look at Tom, like 2 rows up.
Oh wait, I got the wrong picture. Hold on. Yeah. So then Tom and Gronk are like by themselves on the 3rd row.
What in the world?
See, there they are back there.
Oh, okay.
And BTS is all in the front row going, "Yay, World Series!"
Oh my goodness.
Wait, how much do they have to pay to do that, Michael Babcock?
I don't know. All I know is yesterday I was talking to the guys who we run the TMZ Sports website, and we're looking at this picture, and then I'm looking in the back, and I say, "Is that Tom Brady?" Tom Brady has a worse seat than BTS, and that's when we wrote the story like we wrote it. But so you got to find those little funny things in there sometimes. But it's
Tom
somebody
is losing it.
You know what I would do? Because Kelly knows I'm not a Tom Brady fan at all.
Yeah.
I would go there in the daytime before the game, and I'd move Tom Brady to the back row in the nosebleed section, and just see if anybody could find him.
I would have loved that.
I would do that.
Who would you have sitting in the front row?
I hope someone hears and does that, because we have a couple games left, Jeremy.
Okay.
So I hope someone does that.
Okay.
Somebody get in touch with those people at that stadium, please.
Yeah. Boy, that'll break some more news, and he'll get some more coverage, y'all.
I know, right?
I'm just saying. Okay.
Oh, okay, now, do we have to get a little bit serious now again?
Yeah, so, the war between Dr. Dre and his wife, or his estranged wife, the cat just ran across my leg.
Yes, we see this.
You can see that. So the war between Dr. Dre and his estranged wife, Nicole Young, carries on. Look, Dr. Dre is said to be worth $1 billion, and they are fighting over his fortune. Now, Nicole Young has filed a motion in court basically saying to Dr. Dre, you keep telling the court, you're telling everybody that we have this ironclad prenup that I signed in 1996, but you haven't showed anybody. So it's time to put up or show the prenup if you have it, and if not, then let's continue with the divorce without it. The bottom line is things have gotten so ugly between these two. It was just last week that Dr. Dre accused Nicole of embezzling over $380,000 from a company they started together from their account. So it has gotten ugly. It seems to be all centered around money, and these two just continue to fight.
I'm not laughing at the story. I'm laughing at your cat.
She just wanted to make an appearance. Yeah. Now, Michael, how much is she asking per week or per month?
So that's not clear yet, but I do know she would like to split the fortune 50-50, and if you do the math, he's worth about $1 billion, so she'd be looking for about $500 million. So.
Okay, Michael. Before we go, I have a challenge for you. I want you to get your TMZ team on Chrishell Stause and Justin Hartley's story, because I heard a rumor he left her right before he signed his mega deal for This Is Us because he didn't want to share the money.
Yeah.
So I want to know if that's true, and you can do some research for next week, maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me get on it. I've heard that also, though.
Okay. Good.
Michael.
First, do that.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
see you
Michael.
next week.
We
Good
love
to
your
see you.
cats.
Bye.
Bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
You can catch TMZ weeknights at 5 p.m. right here on Fox and TMZ Live weeknights at 12:30 a.m. We love Michael Babcock.
We do.
Don't go anywhere.
We do.
We'll be right back.
Bye.
I want to hug those cats so bad.
I know, they're so cute.
Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes.
Kitty.